He cognitively knows it's... What are you going to do with $1 million?
Quebec is back!
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for yet another predictions video. Today, we're going to run down PFL 6 of the 2023 regular season. Let's start with the first fight on the prelims. We have Abdullah Al-Qahtani versus Lamar Brown. First fight on the prelims, we have lightweights here. Qahtani, the Reaper, 5-1 in his pro MMA career. He's coming out of Saudi Arabia. 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Lost his only ever pro MMA fight in his last fight. 1 KO, TKO, 4 decisions, 0 submissions, and he has gone 4-1 in Brave between 2018 and 2020. Brave, a great developmental league. And he's faced some decent guys on his come up. Look, that beat a 6-0 guy via split decision when he was only 1-0, and he had 1 fight on the amateur scene as well. So, like I said, great organization out there in the Middle East to develop in. I imagine a wrestling background as well. Lamar Brown, 4-1 in his pro MMA career. He's currently on a 4-fight win streak. So look at that. Exact opposite from the Reaper standing next to him. 34 years of age, fighting out of Georgia, USA. 4-1, like I said. He's training at American Top Team Atlanta. Oh, and look at that. His last fight was in a grappling match where he lost to Logan Santos, beat a 1-3 guy. Oof, a 0. Oh god, yeah, his record not as good as his opponent there. Went 3-1 on the amateur scene. The odds for this one, -300 for Abdullah Al-Qahtani, +220 for Lamar Brown. I'm going with the Saudi Arabian. I'm going with Al-Qahtani here. Easy money, -300. I mean, they're serving up Lamar Brown for him on a silver platter. Moving up the card, we have Brahyan Zurcher against Mike Bardsley. Featherweight fight here on the prelims. 5-0 undefeated is the Mexican Brahyan Zurcher, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. 27 years of age. 3-0 in the PFL. Undefeated overall. Fought in Combate Global. Aztec fight. Came to the PFL Challenger Series. And 2 fights later, here he is. Regular season PFL 6. Beat 5-1 guy. 3-1 guy, and then the other guys 0-1 and 1-3. Looking at his opponent, 29 years of age, Mike Bardsley, 3-0 in his pro MMA career. If you look at his last amateur fights as well, he is 4-1 in his last fights, currently on a 3-fight win streak. Rear naked choke in his last fight in K2S. He's also fought in Jorge Masvidal's Icon Fighting Championship. Yeah, he's 3-0, but he's faced guys who have not got a win between any of them. On the amateur scene, he did go 5-1, so he does have some experience on the amateur scene there, but again, just fighting cans, man. Like the most notable fighters even on the amateur scene were 3-1 guys, beat 2, lost to 1. The odds for this one are as so: -270 for Brahyan Zurcher, +220 for Mike Bardsley. I'm going with the favorite again on this one. And unlike the Ryzen prediction video, which if you haven't already checked it out, go check it out. Pause this right now. Go check that one out. Ryzen 43 and join us this weekend for that as well. There's like 3 or 4 really good underdog picks on that card. Not the same here, but don't worry. We'll sprinkle 1 or 2 in. I'm going with the favorite on this one, Brahyan Zurcher. Next, we have Jara Hussein Al-Silawi. The Jordanian Lion, up against Solomon Renfro. 18 wins, 5 losses. He's 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He's on a 2-fight losing streak right now. Fighting out of Jordan, he is 30 years of age. These 2 fighters competing in the welterweight division. 18 wins, 5 losses. Training out of the Source MMA, 7 KO, TKO, 5 submissions, 6 decisions. So very well balanced record. 2-2 in the PFL, 9-1 in Brave between 2016 and 2021, 4-1 in Desert Force, and 2-1 in Cage Wars. So this guy's been around, man. This guy's been around. And look at that, losing to 2 solid fighters here. No shame in that. Before then, beat Gleason Tebow. Mind you, along in the tooth, Gleason Tebow, 7-6 guy, 20 wins and 4, 11-4. Not bad, not bad. He beat a 10-0 guy as well. Avenged a loss there in Brave. Looking at his opponent, Solomon Renfro, the Black Dragon, 10-3 in his pro MMA career, 26 years old, out of Buffalo, New York. Same reach, just a little bit shorter there as Al-Silawi. He's on a 2-fight win streak and 3-2 in his last 5. 3 KO TKO, 1 submission, 6 decisions, 0-1 in LFA, 0-1 off Contender Series. Had a pretty good run in Cage Fury FC, where he won his 2 fights in the promotion. Lost to Mike Malott, no shame in that. Went on another 2-fight win streak, beating a 7-3 and 7-4 guy. Lost to Johnny Parsons on Contender Series. Lost to Adam Fugit in LFA. Went to Freedom Fight Night 2. Beat an 8-5 guy. And on Icon FC 5, again, Jorge Masvidal's promotion, he beat a 12-4 guy right at the end of the first round, making his PFL debut after, honestly, a really respectable Cage Fury career, where he went 7-1 in Cage Fury. That is awesome. And he also has an amateur record of 8-1. Honestly, when I was originally putting this list together, I was going to pick the Jordanian Lion, as he is the favorite, minus 300. Solomon Renfro has... Oh, man. Solomon Renfro, though, I went back and watched a few of his fights. Like, he is good. He is good. Is he great? No, but he is good. Now, he is on a win streak, fighting lesser opponents. Then I'd argue he even fought on the come up there in Cage Fury. He is plus 220 on this one as it stands right now. It's not the worst underdog bet. I mean, Solomon can fight. You know what? I was originally going to go for the favorite here. I was originally going to go for the Jordanian Lion, but Solomon Renfro, guy's 26 years old. He still got the youth factor on him. Full camp or not? Yeah, I'm going with the underdog on this one. I'm going with Renfro, locking it in. It is important to note, too, that Al-Silawi was supposed to fight Cedric Doumbé. Doumbé had to pull out. Was supposed to fight Zach Jusola. Jusola withdrew. This is the 3rd opponent he's now preparing for, where Solomon Renfro, he's coming in and going, hey, I get to fight a solid opponent here. Going to look good on my resume, and it's helping out the PFL. I'm sure they're giving him a decent chunk of change for that as well. Let's move up the card here. We got Alex Martinez against Bruno Miranda. Alex Martinez, 10 wins, 4 losses out of Paraguay, but training out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He's 29 years of age. This is in the lightweight division. He's standing 6 foot, 73 inches of reach. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. He is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. 2 KO TKO, 4 submissions, 4 decisions, 3-4 in the PFL, 2-0 and 1-0 contest in Brave. He lost to a 16-4 guy. He lost to Olivier Aubin-Mercier in the PFL 7 playoffs last season. He beat Clay Collard and Stevie Ray, though, last season at PFL 1 and 4. I mean, he's only lost to solid guys in the promotion. I will give him that. Not that it's a deep promotion. Not a bad development at the start of his career. Bruno Miranda, though, might just be a little too much for him here. 15 wins, 3 losses. He is 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Training out of Phuket. He is Brazilian, standing a little bit shorter than Alex Martinez. He's standing 5'9", 15-3, training out of Tiger Muay Thai. 9 wins via KO TKO, 2 submissions, 4 decisions. He's 2-0 in PFL, 7-2 in Road Fighting Championship, and 3-1 in Watch Out Combat Sports. He beat a 12-3 guy in his last fight, and 9-4 in his PFL Challenger Series fight. Carson Frey in Battlefield FC beat a 22-7 guy. Road FC 5-4, 2-1, 8-4. So hasn't beat the best guys out there in Road FC. He also has a few kickboxing matches which he lost in the mix as well. But you know, in Watch Out Combat Show, he fought a 9-3 guy when he was only 4-0. When he was 1-0, he beat a 3-1 guy. And in his pro debut, say what you want about a guy who's 6-10-1, but that's 17 fights. Making your pro debut fighting guy with 17 fights, whether he's good or not, is a little daunting. I like the resume a little bit more of Alex Martinez. He's a little bit younger than Bruno Miranda, but I'm going to go with the Brazilian on this one. I'm going with Gravedigger Jones rule here. If you don't know too much about both the guys or you're kind of split on them, go for the Brazilian. Alex Martinez, though, coming in at -170. He is the favorite. I'm going with the underdog on this one. Look at that. 2 underdogs in a row. Mind you, I did just change my last pick to the underdog. I was originally going to go with the favorite, but yeah, we're going with the underdog here. Bruno Miranda +140, Martinez -170. I'm going against the grain. I'm going with the underdog here. Gravedigger Jones, this better work, buddy. Locking it in, Bruno Miranda. Let's get to the next one. Natan Schulte against Raush Manfio. Natan Schulte out of Brazil, 24 wins, 5 losses. He is 4-1 in his last 5 fights, currently on a 3-fight win streak, fighting in the lightweight division. Training an American top team here up against Raush Manfio. Natan, like I said, out of American top team, 4 KO TKO, 10 submissions, 10 decisions. He's 13 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw in the PFL between 2018 and 2023. And he goes back further than the PFL as he also fought in the World Series of Fighting, the former PFL, where he suffered 1 loss. He beat Stevie Ray, Jeremy Stevens, and Mauritian Held in his last 3 fights, in his last 3 wins. He lost to Olivier Aubin-Mercier in PFL 1 last year to start off the regular season, the season where Olivier Aubin-Mercier won the $1 million, won the championship. Olivier Aubin-Mercier still on a solid run here, beating Shane Burgos in his first fight this season. Held was 28-8, Stevens 29-20, and Stevie Ray 25-11. Not the best wins, but decent wins nonetheless. He beat Alex Martinez actually via split decision when Alex Martinez was undefeated 8-0. Aliev beat Ramsey Nijam, Chris Wade twice. He's actually got some decent names on his resume. Does Natan Schulte. My apologies if I'm butchering any of these guys' names, ladies and gentlemen. Raush Manfio, also out of Brazil. He's 31 years old too. 17-4. Also 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Coming off a win. He's out of Team Nogueira. 8 KO TKO, 0 submissions, 9 decisions. Night and day style fighters here. Oh my goodness. 6-1 in the PFL, 5-2 in Titan FC. He beat Alex Martinez as well in his last 5 via unanimous decision. Also lost to Olivier Aubin-Mercier, and before then was on a 5-fight win streak, all in the PFL. My goodness. He beat a 34-8 guy. He beat Anthony Pettis. He beat Clay Collard, Loic Radzabov, Don Mage. Wow. So he's actually got some decent wins on his resume. Man, this one's tough. This one's tough, ladies and gentlemen. Natan Schulte is the favorite right now at -180. Raush Manfio is +150. Look, Manfio's actually not a bad underdog, so if you have some units to play with, maybe drop a half unit on him as well. I'm going with Natan Schulte -180. I'm going with the favorite here. I mean, I kind of wanted to go 3 underdogs in a row, but I don't want to get burned that bad, ladies and gentlemen. Going with Natan Schulte -180. I'm going with the favorite on this one. But again, Manfio, not a bad underdog. Not a bad underdog at all. Up the card here, we have Carlos Leal against Dilano Taylor, the welterweight division. Carlos Leal, the Lion, 18 wins, 4 losses. 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He is coming off a win. He's 29 years of age. 7 KO TKO, 2 submissions, 7 decisions. 4-1 in the PFL. 4 wins, 1 loss. 2-0 in LFA and 1-0 in Bellator. Beat David Zawada in his last fight. PFL 3 of the regular season last year. He's got wins against Chris Brown, Ray Cooper III, Corey Coupe. Doesn't have the best names on his resume here. Beat a 13-3 guy in LFA in the first round, knocked him out. Triangle choke. Got a win against a 9-0 guy, Michal Nika, who's 9-0 at the time back in 2017. I mean, not the best names on his resume, but still decent nonetheless. Going up against the Postman. Postman.
Wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Dilano Taylor, 10-4 in his pro MMA career. He's 26 years old. I can't believe it. 2-3 in his last 5 fights, and he's on a 2-fight losing streak. He is huge. This guy's 6'3". He's long. He's mean. 77 inches of reach. 3 KO, TKO, 2 submissions, 5 decisions. Just hasn't been able to put it all together as of late. Let's see if he can do it now. He's 3-3 in the PFL, 5-0 in Titan FC. This is one of those guys that PFL was pumped to sign. Hasn't completely worked out for them yet. But I mean, look at the losses on his resume as of late. Not bad at all. He did beat Rory McDonald, coming in short notice as a replacement, beating Rory McDonald. I mean, Rory McDonald did have 1 foot out the door there, let's be honest. Before his first loss in the PFL, in Combat Night Pro, Titan, and the PFL, he went on a massive run of 2, 4, 6, 8 fights in a row actually taking out some decent competition. Well, except for Mr. Hector here. He's a 7-5 guy, 5-4, 11-3, 8-1, 13-5, 7-1, and 26-9-0. These odds are pretty close again here. Carlos Leal is the favorite at -175. I'm going with the underdog. You know, what did I say at the beginning of the show? There weren't going to be that many underdog picks. I was wrong. I'm going with the underdog. I'm just so used to Bellator. That's why I'm used to just those crazy odds, folks. Going with Dilano Taylor +145. This is the last time, and there was a pick on Ryzen that I said too. This is the last time that I'm actually going to be confident in this fighter because I've been giving them way too much rope. I've been way too patient. Going with Dilano Taylor, the postman. He is the underdog at +145. I just think he's better than Carlos Leal, despite Carlos Leal's decent resume and him having success as of late. This one could bite me in the ass. Originally, when I put my list together, I chose like one underdog. Upon further review, this is going to be an interesting one. All right, on to the main card we go here. Clay Collard against Stevie Ray. Clay Collard, 22 wins, 10 losses. He's 3-2 in his last 5 fights. However, he's 1-1, lost 1, 1-1, lost 1, 1-1. He's coming off a win. Fighting in the lightweight division here, the former boxer has 10 KO TKOs, 3 submissions, 9 decisions. He's 4 wins, 2 losses in the PFL, 1-3 in the UFC. Beat Yamato Nishikawa in his last fight via unanimous decision at PFL 3 of the regular season. Lost to Alex Martinez, split decision. Beat Jeremy Stevens. Fought a couple boxing matches. PBS Christmas Fight Night. How are you? Beat Anthony Pettis in the PFL. And again, took a break from MMA to pursue a boxing career. So very much a stand-up fighter. Up against Stevie Ray here. So we got 2 UFC alumni going at it. Stevie Ray, 33 years old. 25 wins, 12 losses, 2-3 in his last 5 fights. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. 6 KO TKO, 9 submissions, 10 decisions. Stevie Ray, if you guys can recall, between 2015 and 2019, 7 wins, 4 losses in the UFC, 2-3 in the PFL. Lost to Natan, Schulte, Olivier Aubin-Mercier. He beat Anthony Pettis twice, though. Twice in a row, lost to Alex Martinez. Actually beat Paddy Pimblett and Craig Ewers in a grappling match in Polaris. Beat Michael Johnson in the UFC. Joe Lozon, Ross Pearson. Lost to Paul Felder. He's had an awesome career. He's fought freaking Kurt Warburton 3 times. Jeez. In Bama and in Cage Wars. Bama, Cage Wars, UFC, now PFL. Stevie Ray, a Scottish legend when it comes to mixed martial arts, but he's just getting a little long in the tooth now, and I think Clay Collard still has a few solid years left in him. Clay Collard is the -280 favorite. +210 is Stevie Ray. I mean, again, this one, it's not terrible to sprinkle a little some on Stevie Ray. Maybe drinks from the fountain of youth. Maybe comes in injury-free. I mean, we do know how talented he is, but yeah, +210. I ain't taking that one. I'm going with Clay Collard. -280. Locking it in. Next on the main card here, we have Magomed Umalatov. Magomed Umalatov against Nayib López. Now, this one's a little deceiving, folks. Despite Nayib López being undefeated, we got another undefeated, the Prince, Magomed Umalatov here, and he's got an Ov in his name. So when you have an undefeated guy with an Ov in his name against a López out of Mexico who's undefeated, it's pretty much written who you should be choosing. But in the welterweight division, I'll give my prediction in just a moment. Let's take a look at Magomed here. 13-0. He is undefeated. 11 KO TKO, 1 submission, 1 decision. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
That shit beautiful than a motherfucker.
Oh my goodness. A Dagestani who likes to stand and bang. This is an incredible thing. 4-0 in the PFL, obviously. He's undefeated. Also fought in City Kiev, Marat Rushing fighting. He beat Dilano Taylor in his last fight. He beat Jarrah Hussein Al-Silawi. I mean, he's basically cleaning up on everyone on this card. And yeah, this guy likes to finish his fights. Flying knee on his resume. I mean, oh my goodness. Nayib López, also undefeated, 2 inches taller than Magomed Umalatov. Nice, ode to Dragon Ball Z there. But let's be honest, guys. There's levels to this. 6 KO TKO, 1 submission, 9 decision. He's 1-0 in the PFL. Obviously undefeated. Also fought in JFL MMA. Beat a 13-4 guy in the PFL. He's fought in Lux as well. 8-2 guy. But then you just look at some of the other guys he's fought. The competition is just not at the same level as his opponent. 8-6, 11-7, 15-12, 8-5, 8-5, 13-11. I mean, yeah, when he was coming up, he beat a 5-2, but like, that's just the thing, man. That's just the thing. Do I think he has power? Absolutely. Is he in the same shape conditioning as Umalatov? He's not. And I went back and rewatched a couple of López's fights, and there's just levels to this, right? So someone is going to get their first loss. I mean, those betting, they have it for Magomed as well. He's minus 500. He is my bet. That's who I'm picking to win this one. Nayib López plus 350. Magomed Umalatov minus 500. And yeah, I'm going with Magomed Umalatov. I'm going with the heavy favorite here. Sorry, López, but your undefeated streak ends at PFL 6. Yeah, another Magomedov up the card here. Not Magomedov, but a Magomed. We got Magomedkerimov against David Zawada. And he's German? What the heck? 31 wins, 6 losses for Magomedkerimov. He's on a 3-fight win streak. 33 years of age. 12 KO TKO, 9 submission, 10 decisions, 13 wins, 1 loss in the PFL, 3-1 in ACB, and 1-0 in the former PFL World Series of Fighting. Like I said, he's on a 3-fight win streak right now. He beat Ben Eagley, 14-4 guy. He beat a 36-16. Oh, that's Gleason Tebow. And Dilano Taylor, when Dilano Taylor was 9-1. He lost to Ray Cooper the third. No shame in that. And he has some really good noticeable wins. Chris Curtis twice. He actually has a win over Ray Cooper the third, Curtis Melinder, Bobby Cooper, to name a few. His opponent, David Zawada, 18 wins, 8 losses. 2-3 in his last 5 fights. He's fighting out of Germany. Is the 32-year-old. 12 KO TKO, 4 submissions, 2 decisions, 1-4 in the UFC, 3-2 in KSW, and 0-1 in the PFL. Lost to Carlos Leal in his last fight, beat Erhan Kartal, who's a 10-1 guy in Octagon. Octagon is a great promotion, ladies and gentlemen. Lost to Alex Morono in the UFC. No shame in that. Beat Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov via triangle choke in the first round. Wow, lost to Li Jingling. I mean, honestly, he's lost to good fighters in the UFC, and he has some great wins in KSW. I mean, man, this guy's developed all around. Serbian battle, KSW, UFC, GMC, PFL. I mean, don't let this record fool you. This guy's the real deal, James Neal. But for my pick, I'm going with the biggest favorite on the card here. I'm going with Magomedkerimov. David Zawada, I think he'll put up a good fight for at least the first round. The guy's a respectable resume. But at minus 850, I got to go with Magomedkerimov. Plus 525 is David Zawada. And again, this is the biggest favorite on the card. Magomedkerimov. He's got his first name also in his last name. Moving up the card here, we got Shane Burgos against Yamato Nishikawa. Now, I feel bad for Nishikawa on this one. I mean, he's a prospect to the core for the PFL, despite his record of 21 wins, 4 losses, and he's Japanese, so 6 fucking draws. We learned that covering Ryzen, ladies and gentlemen. Shane Burgos was supposed to fight Marlon Moraes, had to pull out of that one, ended up fighting Olivier Aubin-Mercier, and that fight didn't go his way. So still looking for his first win in the PFL is Shane Hurricane Burgos. 32 years of age. UFC didn't want to lose him. The UFC wanted to keep him. Fighting at lightweight now instead of 145. I mean, he was a massive 145er when he was in the UFC. 5 KO TKO, 5 submissions, 5 decisions, 8 wins, 3 losses in the UFC, and 0-1 in the PFL. Like I said, he lost to Olivier Aubin-Mercier. He did beat Charles Jourdain and Billy Quarantillo in his last 2 UFC fights. Lost to Edson Barbosa and Josh Emmett before that. No shame. Beat Kurt Holobaugh, Cub Swanson, Marquand Americani before that. Lost to Calvin Kattar. So look at the losses he has in the UFC. And I mean, dude, he's got, let's just say they've aged pretty well. I mean, Edson Barbosa, he's an absolute beast. Josh Emmett, title challenger, still top contender. Calvin Kattar, still top contender. Cage Fury FC alumni, and that's how you know they are legit. And he also had 5 wins as an amateur, did Shane Burgos. Yamato Nishikawa, the prospect, 20 years old. He's got 21 wins, 4 losses, and 6 draws, and he's 20 years old. He has a lot of time to develop. The PFL has a lot of time to push this prospect. He is 4-1 in his last 5 fights, but he lost his last fight. 14 KO TKO, 4 submissions, 3 decisions, 0-1 in the PFL, 8-1-5. That's right, 8 wins, 1 losses, and 5 fucking draws in pound for pound fighting championship. He went undefeated in Shudo, Japan, which is a great league, and he went 1-1 and 1 draw in Grachan. Now, he crushed a lot of cans, ladies and gentlemen. He lost to Clay Collard in his PFL debut. Beat a 9-1 guy in Schulte, 2-1, 13-6, 6-7, 16-6, 13-5, 8-7, 3-2. I mean, like, while he was 13-3, 14, you know, and you just see here as I continue to scroll down. I mean, padded record. I mean, probably the best win he has is against a 12-3-2 guy when he was 3-0. A lot of draws as well. So he did go on a massive streak before joining the PFL, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, which, hey, credit to him. He won 10 fights in a row, but he was a scrawny kid. He wasn't even 20 years old at that time, right? So I do get you're facing men. I'm not going to take that away from him by any means, but going up against Shane Burgos in your second PFL fight, I mean, man, talk about being thrown right into the fire. The PFL, they got to take their time with this guy. Not necessarily feed him cans, but feed him, you know, a wrestling heavy guy who doesn't have that many other tools, or a veteran who is good on the feet, but, you know, doesn't have the speed and power as they once did or something, just so he can ease his way into the rankings and become a star. I mean, this one, it's a no-brainer, folks. Minus 650 is Shane Burgos. That's who I'm picking. Look, lots of time to develop, assuming he stays healthy. The plus 400 huge underdog is Nishikawa. You'd have to be absolutely insane to drop something on Nishikawa, unless you believe Shane Burgos is cursed in the PFL. I'm going with Hurricane Shane Burgos again. That is my pick, minus 650. All right, co-main event of the evening. We got Sadibou C against Shane Mitchell. The Swede, Sadibou C, 14 wins, 6 losses, 2 draws. The Swedish Denzel Washington is a damn good striker, but just fucking fights boring as of late. I'm already showing emotion here. 36 years old. He is on a 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Leaves a lot to be desired. Generally. Fighting out of Extreme Couture. 7 KO, TKO, 0 submissions, 7 decisions, 8 wins, 4 losses, 2 draws, and 1 no contest in PFL between 2018 and 2023. He's 3-0 in Superior Challenge and 2-1 in International Ring Fight Arena. Look, has a good knockout in round 2 against Hussein Al-Silawi, but then he had a split decision, unanimous decision, and 2 more unanimous decisions against Dilano Taylor, Carlos Leal, Rory McDonald, and Nikolai Elisakin. He lost to Magomedkerimov via unanimous decision, beat Alexei Kunchenko via unanimous decision. So he had 6 fights in a row that went to decisions. Yes, 5 of them he did win. Again, hopefully he can continue his KO streak that we saw earlier in his career, now that he got one in his last win. Looking at his opponent, Shane Mitchell, AAA, 13 wins, 5 losses, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He is coming off a loss, though, out of Australia. 8 KO, TKO, 4 submissions, 1 decision. He's 0-1 in PFL, 6-1 in Diamondback Fighting Championship, and 3-1 in MMA Down Under. Lost to Nayib López in his last fight. Again, Nayib López 15-0. And honestly, I watched that fight, folks. It was a horrendous fight. So look, this guy in Diamondback FC, though that's a sick fucking name for a promotion. I mean, talk about can crushing. 8-11, 3-1, 4-2. Lost to a 15-14 guy. Okay, he beat a 12-3 guy, an 8-1 guy, but that is pretty much it as far as, I mean, be Jeff King, man. Jeff King is 3-13. My God. Okay. Again, that last fight, Shane Mitchell against López, it was bad. Yeah. I'm going with the sweetest Denzel Washington on this one. Please knock him out. Please don't just grapple with him. Please don't just hold him up against the cage and land a couple elbows there. Minus 600 for the Swedish Denzel Washington, plus 400 for Shane Mitchell. Mitchell just hasn't fought even close to the same competition. All right, main event of the evening next, ladies and gentlemen. Olivier Aubin-Mercier, the champion of PFL 2022, who hasn't lost this season yet, up against Anthony Romero. 2 Canadians fighting in the main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Canada. The Canadian gangster, Olivier Aubin-Mercier, 18-5 in his pro MMA career. He's 34 years old, training at a TriStar out of Montreal, Quebec, and he is 5-0 in his last 5 fights. 2 wins via KO TKO, one of which won him the $1 million. 8 submissions, 8 decisions, 7 wins in the UFC, 5 losses between 2014 and 2019, and he's gone undefeated in the PFL, 7-0. He's beaten Shane Burgos, Stevie Ray, Alex Martinez, Raush, Manfio, Natan, Schulte, Daryl Horcher, Merson held, like literally he's cleaned up on Shane Burgos, who's on this card. Stevie Ray, Alex Martinez, Raush, Manfio, and Nathan Schulte. All of them on this card. He's cleaned up and beat them all, ladies and gentlemen. And look at some of the fighters that he lost in the UFC on his way out, all right? Alexander Hernandez, Gilbert Burns, and Armin Sarukian. I mean, other than Alex Hernandez, Gilbert Burns, Armin Sarukian, those losses, they're going to age well. Let's just say that. The up-and-coming Canadian here, only 26 years old. So this could be one of those new wave of Canadians in or outside the UFC, just Canadian MMA fighters in general, who can now hold the torch moving forward. Anthony Romero, the genius. Le Genius. Actually, don't know if he's not French. He's from Ontario, baby. 12-1 in his pro MMA career. He is 4-1 in his last 5 fights on a 3-fight win streak. Training out in the Niagara top team. 3 KO, 2 KO, 1 submission, 8 decisions, 1-0 in LFA, 1-0 in PFL, 1-0 off Contender Series. He did not get a contract. It looks like he developed in Fury FC. I'm not a huge fan of Fury, but he actually fought some decent guys. 8-1. He beat a guy in his PFL debut. And his last win in Fury, 10-9, whatever. He beat an 11-4 guy in Fury, though. That's not bad. Lost to a 7-2 guy. Beat an 8-2 guy in the Contender Series, Mike Breeden. Did not get a contract, though. No Ohio Combat League. He beat a 5-1 guy. So it actually looked like he went to Fury after his rise in KOTC, which honestly fought better competition given where he was in his development than when he went to Fury. Good signing by the PFL, though. Big task ahead of him, but I hope he puts on a good fight. I hope they both put on a good fight. I hope this main event of the evening delivers. Both of these guys now tend to put on more exciting fights than they did in their earlier careers, and I am talking about the youngster as well. Went back and watched some older fights when he was, 3-4 years ago compared to his last 2 Fury fights. Watch his Contender Series fight. I mean, he's not a boring fighter. Olivier Aubin-Mercier maybe once was, but is not now, and is starting to fall in love with those hands of his, and he puts together the grappling very well. He's active. He is active in the grappling, trying to take your back or just drag you into the fire. I'm going with Olivier Aubin-Mercier, the champion, le champion. Minus 550 is OAM. Plus 375 is Anthony Romero. 2 Canadians in the main event again. I am honored as a Canadian to see this. Romero could be in that new wave of Canadian talent. Again, in mixed martial arts, in and out of the UFC, because he's only 26 years old. But OAM at 34, he's in his prime. He's fought way better guys. He is the champion, and he should make easy work of the young Anthony Romero. Those are my picks, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your picks in the comments below. Let me know if you have any crazy parlays or any best bets of your own. Join us for the PFL Fight Companion this weekend, and I'll see you on the next one.